If you like some challenges, then I have two interesting puzzles for you. And the goal is to place queens on the chessboard such in a way that they either don't attack each other or, in the second case, defend the whole chessboard. In case you have forgotten how a queen moves, then it just goes in a straight line in every single direction. And the idea is that you position 8 queens on the chessboard such that no two queens attack each other. So in this case, I failed the task on purpose to give you an example, because these two queens are obviously in their line of sight. So you have two possibilities how to continue from this spot. You can either start from the beginning and place the queens in a new pattern, or you can try to move the queens around until you, well, find a way to get them. But for example, you can think like, okay, if they are taking each other, then maybe you push this one a square to the top and this one a square to the bottom, but then you get new additional problems since these are in the line of sight, and you get additional issues with these queens. So therefore this is a, well, small task to solve, but this is how the game is going. So if you don't have 8 queens to position a chessboard, because usually chess sets have only one queen, you can also use counters. So for example, just start placing counters and play with them. Or my favorite is just use the pawns. So you have 8 pawns in a chess set, so this is not an issue. And again, how it looks like from the start, I'll try to position maybe 8 queens and do it somehow. So let me continue and finishing it. So obviously you should try to position just one queen on each row and line, because otherwise it's obviously already lost. But in this case, again, I failed the task by positioning the queen on d5 in a bad spot, and again you have to move them around, try some feats, and maybe you can find a solution. And just in case this task will be too easy for you, there's an additional version that makes it a bit harder. And in an additional version, you are forbidden to place the queens in a row and in a straight line. And by placing 3 queens in a straight line, I mean, for example, this one that I positioned right here. Obviously, it's not the solution either, but you have also to omit such cases where you have 3, really in a straight line. So for the second puzzle, we have the 5 queen puzzle, and the puzzle itself is easier to solve, but it's harder to verify. And the idea is that you have to place 5 guards on a chessboard, and they have to defend the whole chessboard, each and every single square. And again, I have given you an example where I positioned 5 queens on the chessboard. And here the queens can also defend and guard each other. That doesn't matter, they are friends in this case. But instead you have, to check and verify each and every single square. For example, let's start with this here. I have already failed because this square on a8 is guarded, and therefore it's not guarded, therefore the task is already failed. But usually this is what you have to do. Let's try from the beginning again. I'll use chess pawns here. So let's position the chess pawns somehow that it might be feasible, and they should obviously cover the most spots that is possible on the chessboard. Obviously you can already cross out all the lines that they are guarding, so you don't need to specify it specifically because a queen can defend its own row and also its own line, and then we can just finishing these here in your mind or on the board, and then the final task is to check the final squares whether they are covered or not, and then you just go one by one. So here, let's check. This is guarded by this queen, this is guarded by the queen on b8, this is defended by the one on c3. Again, these are also defended, and actually we could have omitted that, but there we have our final or first square that is not defended. As well, there will be this square and this square that is not guarded by these 5 queens. So in the end, this is not the solution. So therefore, you have to start all over again and try it, and you can also move the queens around, but in the end, this is also always the same task. You have to, well, try and then just, well, check whether this gives you a solution or not. And in the end, if you have found a solution, this is great. This one is once again not the solution. I can see how it fails, but you can check it on your own. There is at least one square in this position that is not defended by the queens, and therefore you have search again and again. But this is the whole puzzle. Actually, it's, well, quite easy solvable once you get the hang out of it, and actually, just for information, there is also a solution having just 3 queens and 2 rooks. Therefore, solving it with 5 queens is actually not that hard.